Hello, hello, hello. I am back and we are going to finish up whatever we can tonight. Just gonna get the live stream going on the computer, make sure everything's rolling through here. And we're good. Okay, so we've got a couple steps left for the bags. I need to actually do a oh, what am I even doing? Top stitching, and the interior seam has to be finished. And that is showing as really loud tonight. So I'm going to turn this volume down a few ticks more because there we go. That looks better. It's not spiking into the red like it was like 2 seconds ago. I don't understand why it's so much louder than it has been. Right? Okay, so we're at the point where it's like I need to actually sew the finishing seams for all the bags first, and then we'll go in and we'll do the top stitching. Sewing the finishing seams isn't a big deal. Top stitching kind of is, but the top stitching for the rest of the bags needs to be in black thread, and the closing seams need to be in white thread. So that's why we're going to go with what we're going to do with it right now. Okay. There, that should be a bit better. I really, really wish I could turn my phone down a little bit more because it's really distracting to hear it like to the side. I wonder if I could actually my earbuds were just dying, so we'll wait for a minute to charge them, but I wonder if I put my earbuds in if that would solve that issue. Guess we'll find out in a couple minutes. All right, so these 4 have been 3-4, however many there have been top stitched. There's one that didn't pass the vibe check when I was setting up at Ancient Arts today, this afternoon. That's part of why I am behind on this. I was also planning to actually go for my run right when we got home from school, but the kids we're having none of that, and that's fine. They needed the connection time instead, so whatever. What are you gonna do? They're toddlers, so that's what I did instead of exercising. And then I didn't actually end up going for my run. I went for a walk and did my yoga instead. So I still fulfilled all my rings on my watch, but I did not do my run training today because it was actually supposed to be a 5-mile run. So that is not. Oh my goodness. Why is that so much louder now than it used to be? Interesting. Okay, that looks better. Anyway, so I went for a walk and yoga training, and I'll do my 5-mile on, I'll probably do it on Monday actually. I used to run my big mileage on Monday, but basically that just means that I'll skip a 30-minute run, and that's fine. So, and depending on how the weather goes this weekend, I might even be able to run it outside. So maybe the kids and I'll go for a walk on Sunday, and we'll see what the trail conditions are like. So once these are all sewn and top stitched, they get their labels put into them. I did get more glue when I was in the city. That was one of the errands I had to run when I was in Calgary today. Yeah, and I'm like 60-70% set up at Ancient Arts. Obviously couldn't do it all because the area that I'm staying up in is actually like someone's basically their office space, and so I gotta go in tomorrow and finish setting it up, which is fine. It'll all be good. Not much to talk about tonight. When I'm streaming this much, like, I run out of stories to actually tell you about things. But yeah, things are just going along. We'll see how far we get along here. I do have some time in the morning, so I think what we'll do, well, we're going to obviously finish and then do the top stitching, because then the sewing at least is done. And then I'll go in and do the labels, and then I think we'll probably leave drawstrings for tomorrow. What I'll do is I'll split the piles up and figure out what we're going to do for brown leather and what we'll do for black leather, and then I can actually cut them. Yeah, that's what we can do, and so that'll save us a lot of time, and then they just need to be strung in the morning. Realistically, the kids are still going to be awake early, and I don't need to be anywhere as early as they're going to wake up, so as long as I get up, I should be able to finish the drawstrings in the morning. It's also only 11 p.m., so you know, I might get it done tonight. Although I do like to leave the labels to dry, typically overnight at minimum. I usually prefer to do them for 24 hours, but they'll be fine overnight. So yeah, I don't like disturbing them. Typically I end up like gluing them onto the bags and then sending them onto the metal plate to like set overnight, or at least for a little bit, and then and then set something heavy on them for overnight. As long as it doesn't get piled too high up, actually. So, all right, I'm just gonna pull all of these out and put them on my lap, and we'll get these under the machine. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is not bad at all. And then, like what? We're like 4 bags in, so 4 bags to top stitch. Like I said, it's always the this part for these bags always is like the super fast come together part, which is awesome. And it always shocks me how fast they come together once you're actually at this step, to be honest. It's like the actual construction of the interior and exterior that takes the time, which I guess makes sense. I've talked about this before though, but that is the one issue with like the drop-in lining bags, is just the amount of time that goes into creating 2 separate bags to just make them into one, basically. But hey, we are going to clear out, or be very close to clearing out, the majority of the Kato bag that we started out with that we're nearly done at the beginning of this week. So considering, all things considered, I am quite pleased with the progress I've made on the this width bin at least. There's still more, obviously, scattered about, but they're pretty damn close to being done. Yeah, and after this we'll focus on getting the cell phone bags done once I find them. They're tucked in one of the nearly done bins somewhere. Got a bunch of like nearly done stuff that we should finish actually, which includes those cell phone bags. And then we'll do pick your own orders and just kind of try to roll along and keep ahead of the stock. So all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 left. Sweet, so we're already almost halfway through. Well, 40% through because we had 10 left. This is the Sneaky Floral Cats. So basically why I call it Sneaky Floral Cats is because it's a very floral print, and then these cats are just like surprise cats sneaking around in the florals. Oh. Sorry, that is going to be a bit much on the sewing table, so we're just gonna pull these, pop them back in the bin to be top stitched here in a minute. My nose is like, it is cold down in the basement, so you should run. The nose should run, not me. I'm not running tonight anymore, but I did go for a 20-minute walk, which is better than nothing. And like I said, I did my yoga, so. It's one of the deals I have to have with myself is it's like, you have to get your exercise in, Katie, because otherwise all of this falls apart. Okay. Everything falls apart otherwise. Even when you are exercising, it can still fall apart. But it is something that is under my control. So, and the more I do it, the easier it typically gets. I'm not going to say that I don't struggle with it, but you know. Actually, it'd be nice to know what the trail conditions in Calgary are like, because I bet you they're a little bit better than Cochrane, because they've got more population to maintain their trails better. I'm just like, maybe I go in and I run the mileage with the kids in the stroller on Sunday. That might be fun. Be something different for them too. Wonder if I can convince a friend to come for a training run with me. That would be actually the best solution. Maybe I'll find out, because we typically do get together for exercise on Sunday anyway. I wonder if she would be down for that. Sorry. And if she is, maybe that's just when I should keep it anyway. Actually we alternate, so I've convinced her to start coming to spin with us on Sundays. But I wonder if on the alternate weeks if she'd be down for going for a training run, if it's nice enough. I think Sunday it's supposed to be like one of the best days for weather. And if the trails are like, well, if it's not, then we'll just go for a walk. Who cares? Really. And realistically, we can still go for a 5-mile walk, because it's mostly about like time on your feet, and obviously you want to be training for speed and like zone 2 cardio and stuff like that. But if we did a hustle walk, I'm sure I could do 5 miles at zone 2, and that'd be basically, I'm finding out that like zone 2 is where you want to be to like build your aerobic base. And then zone 3, which is where I did most of my training over the summer last year, is actually where you want to be building your endurance. So for the long runs, that's where you want to be doing a lot of the training. But zone 2 is supposed to help like pretty rapidly reduce your heart rate. So that's what I'm focusing, like I'm trying to focus on it a bit more before these runs in May. Or before my run in May. And also before a road race in July. So I want to get my 10K back to the speed that I was when I was like at what I would consider my peak physical performance before kids. So So it's funny, now I have like PBs that are like, so personal bests that are like personal bests. Pre-babies and personal bests postpartum now, so. And honestly, I'm more impressed with my personal bests postpartum, even if they are slower, so. Alrighty, last one to finish the seam on the inside. Then we'll swap the thread for black and we'll get these all top stitched. And so far so good with the babies. So that means that we should be able to turn around, or we'll just maybe glue on this desk here probably. I do actually need to run upstairs for some Q-tips because I did get acetone to hopefully clear up the glue that's on the one piece. Excess glue, it's lovely. All right, here we go. One, ooh, that was close. Two. I don't know why I wasn't popping. Well, I know why, because I was just like, let's just get these out, and then we can pop the interiors in afterwards. Why did I choose black for that one? Interesting. All right, past Katie made some choices. Very recent past Katie made some interesting choices. And also did not trim all her threads yet, apparently. Huh, I thought I had. Okay. Alrighty, I am going to try and pop my earbuds in and see if that helps with the phone. Because it would be nice not to be listening to myself as much as I currently am. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, so typically it is actually like, oh, this is so weird. I have not heard myself this clearly through the... Okay, that just had like an echo. Okay, do I have the mic muted? Is that why it's up? Yeah, it's muted. Interesting. But it's like... Oh, I wonder if do you know what's probably happening is I'm listening through my... Yeah, okay. So I need to mute my laptop because somehow I'm listening to myself through the computer and the phone at the same time. And now that I've muted the laptop, I can't hear myself at all. So typically when I have my... Okay, but I can still hear it through the phone. Weird. This is so weird. Let me get in here and put you to... No. Okay. It looks like it's okay now. It's good now. Whatever. I'm just going to leave my earbuds in because... whatever. It blocks the sound for me at least, so I'm not listening to myself and driving myself nuts. As long as the kids aren't freaking out, we're good. Okay, so now I'm in transparency mode, so I'll be able to hear them anyway. If they do start making some fuss. This spool is like so close to being done, it's not even funny. I don't even know if... I think there might be another bobbin on there, but I don't even know if there is or not. All right, let's pop that up there. We need to put the black on. I don't know why I took the white spool off, but I will very likely need to have black thread, so we'll find out in a minute. Also, I totally bought myself a new seam ripper because I was like, well, I can never really have too many seam rippers. And then I found the seam ripper stiletto combo that I have from Dan Ware, like as soon as I got home, of course. Hid it from the kids so well that I hid it from myself. I did also grab myself some new needle threaders too, because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to like thread the needle. Not always, but on those times where it's nice to have it, it's nice to have them handy. And then I was like, the kids were like the last ones out the door today from preschool, so that was fun. Alright, I do want to see if I can actually get this so that I can hear myself on the phone, because it is kind of still echoing in the background for me. Let's see if I can get this onto my earbuds. Saying that it's connected, so this is all very strange. Okay, and it's muted and everything like that, so I have no clue what's going on, to be honest. And now that I'm talking, like, I can't hear it anymore. Technology, folks. And like I said, it's also weird because the like mic right now is like, I am going to be very loud, so I actually had to turn it down, which I have not had to do with this mic before. All right. Oh, see. Oh, interesting. It's when it's like actually on the stream. Well, that's kind of cool and kind of weird, but okay. All right. Let's get a black bobbin out right here. Here we are, black bobbin. We don't have any empty ones, so we're not going to pull the white bobbin off yet. I'm just going to pop it up there, and then when we need to do when we need to do a bobbin, I've got it there. All right, there we go. I'm going to mute my mic for a moment, take a drink, and then we'll get into the top stitching. Yes, I did drink a coffee with dinner. No, I'm not drinking caffeine right now because I would be up until 3 a.m. And as much as I do need to be up to like wrap up on work, I do not need to be up that late. That one is like, I used to be such a night owl, and I actually really miss it. But like a 3 a.m. night now takes like 3 to 4 days of recovery. Even if I'm just lazing in bed, like reading or something like that. I guess it's the equivalent of jet lag though, so it kind of makes sense, right? Now, would I suggest that you press this before you like top stitch it? Probably. Am I going to? Nope. Again, it's one of those cost versus rewards in this situation where it's like, typically I can get as good or better of a top stitch without pressing it as I can if I do press it. I find that pressing a lot of the time, especially with these curved bags, means that you end up with fabric just willy-nilly everywhere, and so I just decide not to do that. But there is the capybara finished. So it's going to go in the back here. And we're going to move on to the next one. How many do we actually have? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and we're done one. So we've got 15 bags to top stitch. And we already did one. AT. The other thing I would typically also suggest doing is actually stitching it from the exterior right side, unless you really trust your bobbins. Because a lot of the time the top part of the stitch actually looks better than the bobbin part of the stitch. Granted, with this kind of open construction, you want both sides looking good anyway, but I usually trust my bobbin until it bites me in the butt, but you know, it'll all be fine. Okay. It's like I am going to like squid legs everywhere. Squidward. What is going on? It's like another piece of thread got connected to the bobbin thread. That's weird. Okay. Well, that's a lot of wasted bobbin thread. Trim it. Pop it back down. Push that through. Make sure this is trimmed down correctly, because I don't think it was. Nope, not quite. Now it is. Perfect. Trim up that. Okay. Next. So you might be like, Katie, why aren't you stitching them from the front? And I don't know. It's mostly because I don't want to have to turn the bag again from like interior to exterior. So we just stitch them from this side, and honestly my bobbin thread is usually fine, so I'm not too worried about it. I know I counted them at the beginning, but I've totally lost track of how many we've done. Two since I counted. Okay. It's like this is going so well, but not quite as fast as I thought it was. That's okay. Okay, let's get this in here. go. We'll flip it over and we'll trim it on this side. Just a nice trim down and we're good. Man, this cat right here is still my favorite with the little curl up and the whiskers. So the whisker cats are my two biggest favorites. Not that I don't love them all, but I think those are my two favorite ones out of this pattern. Right now, it might change tomorrow. Who knows? So I'm the maker. I am 100% allowed to make arbitrary decisions of what I like at any given time. And I will reserve that right to do so. Alright, there's a bunch of thread here that's like not been trimmed and apparently escaped onto the exterior, so we're just going to trim it down because that's not cool. There we go. All right. Excuse me. Next one. I think this will be like 4 out of 5 or something like that. Oh, this cat one is so adorable. Oh my goodness. It's like turned out so cute. Again, why I chose dark top stitching for, I do not understand, but we will just ignore the foibles of recently past Katie, and just get the top stitching done. We are cranking along pretty good. So this should... go. Yep. Love it, love it, love it. Just double check to make sure that the top stitching went well. No, it did not. Not all the way around. Okay. There's a big warble right here. And this is one of the perils of doing the top stitching from the back basically versus doing it from the front. So actually took one to Caroline's today that I actually brought it home because I looked at it and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good. It had a big crease in it. Pleat, I guess, in the front. And what had happened is that it basically did what this one is doing and had done this great big, like, fold. And, yeah, that's not going to look good because it's not how it's intended to be sewn. Alright, we're just going to do this whole side again. No, we'll just do up to here, right on this little black cat. Just need to get this pulled out, and then we'll go back in and top stitch it again. Typically this is something that would put this into timeout, but I am not feeling in a timeout mood right now. We're just going to try and get through and finish what we already have slated to finish, basically. Yeah, that's a lot of excess fabric there. So we're going to go in and top stitch, and then the second most important thing tonight, besides finishing the sewing, is we're going to go in and adhere all the labels, because then they can at least drive overnight, and if we need to fix anything, we can do it tomorrow morning. They can chill in the seat beside me as I drive in. Yeah. I just remembered I have a massive bag of flour on the seat in the front, so I should probably take that out and bring it in the house. But that also just sounds like a sure recipe for disaster with the kids, so. Although I guess it does need to come in because I want to make muffins with them Sunday. Which means we also need to go get a muffin tin tomorrow or Sunday. Okay, there we go. Trim down all the excess threads, and then what we'll do is we'll trim down the back there as well. I'm just going to trim down my band-aid because otherwise that is going to get sewn in, and that's never a fun experience. Have I done it before? Yes. Is it fun? No, I am speaking from experience. Again. Alright, this side is fine. So I just gotta pull this one down a little bit and make it a little bit happier. And now it's happier. And now we're gonna stitch it down. Not that it wasn't happy before, it just needed a little bit more finessing to make sure that everything lined up. So we'll blend in the two stitch lines. Just make sure that everything is kind of pulled away from the seam, so it can be nice and flat, and then we'll blend in the stitch line right here as well, and that'll stop stitch both sides of the top stitch. And there we are, top stitching fixed. Pull any of the excess thread that might have like jostled out for reasons only known to itself. And there we go. Sweet. And we'll trim down the other side as well. Right here. And on the interior. Right there. And we're good. Now there's just a bunch of thread everywhere, because of course, why wouldn't there be? There. Okay. That bag has like a big thread on it, so. All right. All things considered, though, it still is more time efficient to just stuff the lining in and then stitch it down instead of like turning the bag and then turning the bag and then turning the bag. Yeah. Kind of like the box bags. That is, I think that is its point of tedium. outside of maybe cutting the boxing, but at least that's like one of the final steps. But what makes it tedious is at the beginning, it's like, okay, cut everything. That's fine. That's not bad because you get the excitement of, ooh, new fabrics, or old fabrics, but new bags. But then you have to go in and you install the zippers, and they're inside out. And then you turn it, and those ones I do press, so you press it, and then you stitch it, top stitch it, and then you turn it back to like stitch the interior, and then you turn it back again. And hopefully that's the last time, but if there's any mistakes, then you have to turn it back again. So some days it's just very repetitive. And so in the areas where we don't have to do that, we are not going to, except apparently tonight I am having bad luck with my top stitching. Oh my goodness, that is a massive fold. Right after I did the other one, of course. It's because I felt cocky, probably. Okay. Well, we'll pick it out right now, and then I can just come straight around because we're not done stitching. And I can just restitch it. Not a big deal, really. Just annoying. I am enjoying, however, this like heavy-duty seam ripper for sure. And I usually do try to tuck my top stitch starts and stops like in a less obvious place. But when needs must, needs do. Okay, even with the coffee, I can already tell I am fading hard. Oh well, I guess the coffee was at like 5:30, so it's like already been, the caffeine has already peaked. Yeah, it's like peaking right now, basically. It's all downhill from here. There we go. Alrighty, here we go. Are we actually good, or do I need to unpick this whole top? Bah. No, we gotta go all the way across. Okay, let's just pull this then and just redo the whole thing at this point. Because there's no point right now in like keeping only a quarter of the bag stitched. And this time we're going to go from the outside. So apparently these fabrics are just going to give me grief. And when they sewed together so well earlier today with the like drawstring and everything, of course, I should have known that now that we're under the super time crunch, they would rebel. But I am going to stick with it. I will finish these bags tonight. Or at least I'll finish them to the point of adding drawstrings. So the current plan is to top stitch everything, and then oh right, if I pick it from this side I can just like pull it, I think. Or darn close, because this is the top thread. Anyway, words mean nothing right now, apparently. Top stitching, label application, and then I'll cut the drawstrings based on the leather color, because that does take quite a bit of time, more than like one of those tasks for this that's like an unexpected amount of time. And then I can add drawstrings in the morning. I'm not worried about it, because here's the thing, I might be going to bed late, but my kids did not. And they will be up early. Hopefully I can get them to sleep in on Sunday. That would be glorious. Basically all I have to do is turn my alarm off. So And they're not even that early of risers. Like we're like between 6 and 6:30 right now, which is not bad. It's not like and honestly, they've been really good that way in that there's only been a few times where they've woken up and been like up for a bit, especially my youngest. My youngest has always had lower sleep needs. So there's been a few nights with them where they will wake up and then be awake for like a couple hours. But that also hasn't happened in a while. So I think we've got a good balance of like activity and stuff right now. Activity, growth spurts, etc. Almost unpicked. Problem is that if I do put this back underneath and actually do the top stitch on the right side, it might still not work, because then you end up with that bulge on the interior and it is not attractive. So maybe we'll just stick with sewing it from the interior. Just do a better job of making sure that the layers are like pulled down around the seam instead of bubbling up, basically. Okay, let's see if I can pick this out. Just about there. Apparently the seam allowance or stitch length got really short around the leather. It is very unhappy about getting picked out. There we go. It was very unhappy from the front too, so let's see if I can do, if I've loosened enough to do the rest from the front though. Almost. Aha, I see the trick of this. Just about there. Please, please, please. Please, 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 please. Oh my goodness. Yes, there we go. Okay, it's like 2 more stitches. That is the one nice thing about top stitching, is that the seam or stitch length is longer. So typically, what happened around this leather that it's like sunk in? It's weird. Anyway, it does normally pick out a little bit easier than this, just because the seam length is like, or the stitch length is longer. Seams are the amount of fabric you have between the edge of the fabric and your stitch line. Stitch length is the length of the stitch, not seam length. There we go. I did it. Okay. Phew. Okay, so for some reason it is now laying well. So we're just going to go back in and restart. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep kind of... There we go. Still super smooth sewing overall. These bags are coming together very nicely and just like not causing me too much grief, which is nice. Sometimes, I tell you, it's like they have a mind of their own. Obviously the top stitching has had a bit of a mind of its own tonight, but when does it not? It knows it's the star of the show for the actual stitching, because you don't see the rest of it in the inside of the bag. So besides the fabric, it's got to get its own way. Okay, there we go. Do not give me as much grief, please. Just go smooth so that we can get you done, because I want you at the show tomorrow. Okay. Let's go. We're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Top stitching on these is going far slower than it went on the white bags, but I guess I also had to pick up 2 seams, so that makes sense. I guess. Whatever. This Alice print is so good. Look at it. Gorgeous. Love it. Okay, more hydration. Alrighty, down into the single digits. like when you're doing increases for a sweater, and even though you know that like you're still like 20 increases from the end, you count every single time you increase 2 to 4 stitches. It's like, how many do I have left now? How many now? We're down to 7. The clock we're racing against right now is not only my tiredness, but children waking up. So it's like, oh my goodness, just stay asleep for maybe another 45 minutes, I think. 45 minutes to an hour, and all will be well and finished. Well, actually that might be a bit optimistic for actually like cutting drawstring, but whatever. We'll stick with that. I need to find a lint roller, because apparently there's been some Flynn love on this one, so. And we ran out of bobbin thread right out of the gate, of course. Lovely. Okay. Well, I'm gonna say that's easy to fix, but I do have a bobbin right here for swapping out at least. Flynn is getting up to some sort of mischief upstairs. Lovely. That is a sarcastic comment. Okay. So a white bobbin here can go in the drawer. Black bobbin. Empty bobbin can go there. Set this up for winding because that was about half of the bags. Just over half the bags. So it means that we'll very likely need another bobbin tonight. Be nice if we didn't have to, but you know, better prepared than not. All right. In this case, because we don't have any issues with the top stitching, I am just going to blend it in, and we'll continue on. We won't pick out what we've already stitched. Get up to there. There we go. Eek. Sorry, probably very loud. Okay. By the way, if the sound is quiet, please let me know. I did actually turn my mic down because it was going up into like the no-go zone earlier, and so I wanted to make sure it wasn't blasting out anyone's eardrums. But hey, since switching mics, I haven't had an issue. Excuse me, or at least no one's told me that there's been an issue with the sound, so that's good. So apparently it was the right decision to switch back to the lav mic. So now I just need to find a solid wireless lav mic that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg. Royal Cat is done, so that means we have 6 left. That felt like yep. There's threads in here to trim still. Apparently I did not do a very good job of trimming all my pocket threads for some reason this time. But I am finding them when I stick my hand in, and there is like a thread spidering across it. So that's a fun way to find it. I know it's not actually spider webs, but it's just like, ugh, it's one of those sensations that you just doesn't need to happen when I can avoid it. go. Clip it down. And now we only have 5 left. Ha ha ha. Hey buddy, how are you? Were you the one who knocked over the clips earlier? Or did that just happen because they were sitting precariously? Oh, stay out of the bin. Out of the fabrics, dude. Oh, that one is heavy and I don't know why. Okay. All right, 4 more. Ready? Yeah, okay, I did not miscount. Phew, okay, good. It was a little bit confusing looking down because, of course, there's the ones that need the D-ring tabs fixed, and I was like, there are more bags down there than 4. But no, they are the ones that have to wait for me to fix up D-rings. So it's okay. They can chill and wait their turn. Lindsay, you're like, why are the lights still on? We should be in bed cuddling right now. I agree, buddy, but let's get some of this done first. And of course, as he knocks a bunch of stuff over. Hey, what are you doing? Yeah? Do you have anything to say? Oh, that feels good, hey? Three more. Then we can go in and glue on the tags and cut the drawstring, and then we'll thread the drawstring in the morning. Okay, that wasn't a kid, that's good. That was some other sound, I don't even know what it was. Is gorgeous. This under the machine. Okay, so this is quite a thin drawstring channel for this one, so I'm just gonna make sure that it is also like, obviously I want to make sure that all of them are like as tall as they can get, but in particular this one, because otherwise the drawstrings aren't going to fit through it. And that would be a shame, because this is a gorgeous bag and it's just going to look even better once I get the leather cording into it. So gorgeous. I love it. And the pink pull tabs with the gold just look even more spectacular on the sides of this one. So, alright, last two, and then we can get to the label gluing. It's good that I cut them the other night, but I love how I was like, I gotta get these done because we're gonna put them in last night. And then last night I was like, oh my goodness, I am so exhausted that that's not gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen tonight because the kids are awake and I am tired. Oh well, we definitely know nothing's gonna be happening on the stream tomorrow night because between tonight and being at a show tomorrow, I will want the recovery time. Figure out something to do with the kiddos. Go. Last one for top stitching. We've nearly done it. And I think there's like 3 out of the ones that I decided to make that went into timeout because they have to have the D-ring tabs fixed, so that's pretty good overall. And then when I was tidying up or looking for something else in the cutting studio the other day, I did find the drawstring channel for the polar bear bag. So we're getting closer for those ones too. Now those will go into the next rotation of Kato finishing. I'm not going to do them right now. Oh, right. And the more cats and housekeeping didn't get finished, even though they're extremely close. But that's easy enough to add them in. Maybe I'll just add them in for the next week anyway, because they're like 90% complete pretty much. So that's probably what'll happen. Just some nice, easy projects to make. That is the last of the sewing for tonight. Phew. We've done it. Alrighty. Now we get to do the rest of it. Because we're not done yet. So now we fold everything down and we do 2 at a time, because basically what I do is I smear glue all over one and then we pop them together. Flynn is like settling himself behind me on the pile of like fabric. Anyway, okay. I should go grab the other thing. Okay, I go grab the other thing, glue, and I'm also gonna go grab the Q-tips to try and clean up the for the acetone, try and clear up the glue on one of the other bags. So I will be right back. Hello. Okay. That doesn't sound like it's got the reverb or the whatever that's called. I know there's a name for it, but I can't remember. That whole have to get up and come back thing was because I was like, I need one more thing. And then as soon as I sat, like, I was standing over there for a moment, like, what did I just think I needed? And then I promptly forgot, and then I remembered when I sat back down. And the thing that I needed was the metal plate so that I can actually like do anything. Okay, so this is actually acetone. I want to try and get the glue off of a project because somehow it got like on top of it, but I also want to make sure that we're not going to damage or take off at least too much of the finish since it is acetone, and it looks like it'll be okay as long as I don't like scrub it. It's definitely lifting some of it, but nothing too terrible. Okay, so don't scrub it too hard. Alright, you need some extra glue. One needs less glue, one needs more glue, and that's just always how it goes, isn't it? Anyway, it's a super cute one. I want to get it finished, and that's all that's holding it up is like there's this huge like glue. You can kind of see it on camera there of like glue patch around there. So let's get it tidied up a bit more. I'm also hoping that it even just works on getting the glue off. So, although actually that's exactly what it's doing. Sweet. I can't think of anything else that would really work for it, but even if it like just loosens the bonds and then I can like manually remove it, that will be amazing. That's basically what I'm going to do now with this one, is so that I don't over soak it. I'm going to take a pin and just try to lift it from the fabric. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely working. Sweet. Oh, the lovely scent of acetone. Okay, I also don't want to damage it or anything like that, so we're not going to do too much. I just want it to look a bit better than it is right now. And of course, my youngest, I set these on my desk because of course I was going to work on this tonight, and my youngest runs up and grabs both the bottle of glue and acetone, of course, and then like races away with it, because there's nothing like a toddler, nothing faster than a toddler that knows that they have something they shouldn't. That is actually cleaned up. Sweet. I've been like procrastinating on this so long. Glad that I finally just did it. There we go. Get the fluff out. See if I can kind of manipulate this off now that it's like, there we go. And then there is a tiny touch on the actual label that we'll try to get off here. Sweet, there we go. And then we'll take another Q-tip in and just basically take it off so it doesn't damage the leather. There we go. And there is a bag ready to go. Now all of those are going to go in a different garbage because hi. And the good thing about the acetone is that it'll evaporate in there. Alrighty. Cleaned up. Ready to go. And I think it also has a good adherence. So we're going to pop that right there and we'll let it kind of dry for a few minutes just to let it all evaporate out. All right, so we've got this new leather and we've got some of the old leather. And so we're going to start with the new leather because why not? It's exciting, new and exciting. So basically what I do is I open up my bottle of glue here. Then we're just going to lay it down on the actual label, and yes, this glue has gotten slow, so it's a good thing we've got some new stuff here as well. And then this is why I do two, because I just like to put a great big dollop like that, and then I make a label sandwich. Nice, carefully squish it around. Again, we're trying to not get it on the labels and the bags, so I just want to kind of swishy around. Apparently I might actually need more on this second one. Okay, so we're just gonna pop this one on. Okay. And do I eyeball it? 100% baby. Because once that goes on, it is on and it is going to stay there, because I do not want to have to clean it up constantly with the acetone, because that is not good for anyone involved. Okay, so now with this one, because of the extra that we're putting on, I'm just going to use the tip of the glue bottle to spread it. This is super like professional way of doing it, I'm sure. There we go. Flip it. Make sure it's the right way before I actually put it on the bag. And we're going to pop it right there. And then this is why I actually like to have the metal plate. So now these two pop here, and I pop the metal plate on top, because it's nice flat weight. That's going to help flatten the labels if they're a little bit curled, and also help with the adherence of the actual label to the bag. At least that's why I'm doing it. It's what I'm assuming it's doing. It doesn't typically lead me astray, so you know, we're just going to keep doing it that way. And then what they'll do is I'll leave them sitting under that plate for the overnight period at the minimum. Like I said, I do typically prefer to do it longer, but overnight is good enough. I think it's supposed to technically dry in like 2 hours. But you know, longer typically for glue is like, longer is not going to hurt glue, that's for sure. Alright, come on glue, I know you're almost done. I just need you to do a few more labels until you run out. Because you're almost there. I can see you're almost there. Alright. I bet you I'll open the new bottle and I'll be like, oh, this is like best glue day ever. Kind of like when I eventually actually swap out the needle on my machine, I'll be like, oh, why didn't I do this sooner? Obviously it's a little bit easier to tell with glue when you need to like get or like change it up, but you know, same. Okay, now this one, now if I see it on top when I'm actually, before the glue is dry, then we work on making sure that we do not have it on top. And so like when it's just a little bit tacky like this is usually the best time to try and get it off. One problem is that my hands are so dry that sometimes it actually takes the skin off and makes it worse. So I'm going to try to avoid that tonight as well. Get that ball of glue. And then do a full hand press around. I think we're good. Get this sorted as best as I can. this under the plate as well. So now these will go over. Oh yeah, that is going well over there. Okay. I'm going to do sneaky floral cats. And if you're like, Katie, do you kind of have a rhyme and reason to where these get placed? Basically, handle to the left. If I'm not thinking about it and it ends up with handle to the right, not really a big deal. But at least handle to the left keeps the like display looking cohesive. So. Now I've got glue on my band-aids. Lovely. Okay. Big ol' slug of glue. Well, good news is at least the kids are cooperating tonight and sleeping so far. Hopefully that stays that way until we are done what we need to do tonight. That would be nice. What we need to do after this tonight is get the drawstrings cut. And that's it, actually. Just labels and drawstrings right now. And then I will pull drawstrings tomorrow morning, because honestly, they'll still be up super early, even if I don't want to be. Well, in part because I will also still have my alarm on, because I will need to be up early to do drawstrings. And then hopefully on Sunday they'll sleep. I think as long as I leave my alarm off, they'll sleep. So they're pretty good about that. Eek. Alrighty. Just smush it down there. Get it kind of, get the glue kind of right to the edges, hopefully. Yeah, we're good there, and then we throw it underneath here again. And then 6 is kind of the maximum for how many you want to actually be on this pile. So I think after this we'll rotate, because it stops being effective as a like weight system. All right. This needs threads trimmed down, apparently. Thankfully, the canvas doesn't pick up cat hair quite as easily as the like quilting cottons. Oh goodness. All right. So we're going to mostly be using these lighter brown ones, and I'll reserve these darker brown ones for the bags that have like brown handles and stuff like that. So at least that is the decision that I just came to. They were also cut kind of as like extras. But I think I might actually have enough of the light brown that it's not a big deal. So I guess we'll find out in a few minutes. Really, it doesn't matter. Either way, I'm just glad I was able to actually get those branded. Because it was looking like I may not have, like there was a high possibility I wouldn't have been able to. So, alright, I've still got a few labels worth of glue in this bottle. Because of course we do. It's like, if I hadn't gone and bought glue today or ordered glue to pick up, I would have run out of glue instantly, of course. But the fact that I went and like got a replacement bottle of glue means that we probably won't need it. Okay. It's like a forbidden Oreo. Leather, glue, leather. I am not interested in eating it at all, but that's just what popped into my head. Excuse me. Definitely been talking too much today. It's not like I got a visit in with Caroline while I was setting up, which was nice, but was not a break for my vocal cords. So squish, 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 squish. Ask her. I'll just throw it underneath. Although that is probably enough at that point. Oh yeah, there we go. It's definitely not like doing anything for these bottom layers, so. Okay. One Alice, and then actually the next one is the cherry blossom, and that will look really good with this, the warm brown label as well. Although they all need a bit of a trim down, I think. And that's just to get rid of the extra little like fibers that may or may not have, well, obviously didn't get fully trimmed when I actually used the die to make to cut it. So that's fine. Excuse me. Just realized that monitor might be like too low or on the wrong camera, actually. Oh, curses. Okay. So it's like, I think I hear a child. It would be good to make sure that it did flip between the two at least. Okay. There we go. Fixed. I was not hearing children. However. Okay. You know, as soon as you don't, and it's like, ah. Or I don't have the monitor set up properly, something goes sideways. So, all right. Pop that on. Squish, 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 squish. May wonder about the fancy twirl. The fancy twirl is to kind of, there's like glue hairs because this glue does dry really fast once it's exposed to air typically. And so that like twirl is just to kind of break up any of the glue fiber basically that ends up happening when you pull them apart. All right, we're going to start a new stack. I'm going to actually take this stack and throw it in the bin down here. Because, yeah, those labels aren't actually going anywhere right now, so that's good. Still not going to harass the bag too much and do much, like, well, I'm also tired. So we're going to do labels, cut drawstrings, and then I will insert the drawstring lace tomorrow. There we go. Okay, just trim up a couple of these ones. jinxed myself by drawing attention to the monitor. All right. Well, that is the end of tonight. We'll see what I can do in the morning. Who knows? Maybe I can get up and actually do more of this in the morning. But if nothing else, I'll come on and I will be chatting with you on Monday, whatever that is, February 12th. And I hope you all have an excellent weekend, and I'll chat with you